Well, it looks like myself and a few other people were wrong when they said that Judge Nepern would not grant the SEC's motion to extend expert discovery until January 14th, because she just did. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why and why some people think that this case may still be resolved in the same amount of time, regardless of the time extension that she just granted the SEC. I'm going to talk a little bit about why the SEC wanted that extension of time, and the one thing that could end this case a lot sooner than what some people think. In another crypto news, we have even more Bitcoin ETFs about to hit the market. I'm going to talk about not one, but two Bitcoin ETFs, but still futures-based ETFs that are going to hit the market. And the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, was at DC FinTech Week, and he was talking in an interview going over many different topics, but one of which he was actually talking about how Ethereum actually passed XRP in terms of market cap when Ethereum was given its clarity and XRP wasn't. I'm going to tell you about a couple of other things that Brad said during that interview. And if you're a fan of the crypto market and mass adoption, then you will love to hear this. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich just said that the Fed should, and in his opinion will eventually, hold Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. Well, you can comment down below if you believe that one or not. But that's a topic for a whole nother video. Hey everyone, my name is Randy and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now on this channel, we are covering the Ripple versus SEC case, along with other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if you want to follow along with any and all of those topics, make sure you subscribe to the Late Night Grind and also hit that bell notification icon so that YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. And if you're feeling really generous today, I'd really appreciate it if you do two things. Number one, smash that thumbs up button. Number two, watch this video all the way to the end. Those are the two best things that you can do to support a YouTube channel. So if you do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So I want to first start by talking about the Bitcoin futures ETFs that are about to hit the market. There is one that's going to begin trading on Friday, and another one, the speculation is that it's going to begin trading on Monday. So already we have one out that is setting new records, and now we have a second and a third one just behind it. Now the second one actually was one that I actually mentioned in my video. I remember talking about it about a month ago. It's by a financial services firm called Valkyrie, and they're naming their ETF something very interesting. It's going to go under the ticker symbol BTFD.US. Well, originally they were going to launch it as BTF, but they added the D when they saw that there was kind of a meme in the trading world going around that BTFD means by the effing dip. So they decided to make their BTF ETF into BTFD.US. They think they're going to attract more of the meme coin market into this. I'm not really sure if that's going to work out, but it's an interesting name change nonetheless. They've officially changed that ticker symbol to BTFD.US. So that one's actually scheduled to launch on Friday, and the third one that's coming out supposedly on Monday is also a futures-based ETF. It's by a company called Van Eck, and in my opinion, there's going to be a lot more, especially futures-based ETFs, specifically with Bitcoin, but I think there's going to be other cryptocurrency ETFs coming down the pike in the future for futures. And I did read a comment on somebody else's article that said that they believe that the more futures ETFs there are, the more likelihood of there is actually a spot ETF coming in the near future. We'll have to see how that plays out. And to some Ripple news, CEO Brad Garlinghouse was in DC FinTech Week, giving interviews all over the place. There's all kinds of clips on YouTube that you can go check out. But the one thing I picked up on one of his interviews was that he was talking about how Ethereum passed XRP, because at one point in time back in 2017, XRP was actually the second largest cryptocurrency in the whole market behind Bitcoin. Well, after 2018, Ethereum went well past XRP and began to take off. A large part of that was because of the clarity that was given to it by the SEC. Now, if you've been following my channel as well as several other XRP channels, you'll know that, well, there's some shady goings on behind the scenes of why Ripple was actually sued, or at least that's as a conspiracy theory goes. But if you go on Twitter and watch all the Twitter sleuths, as Brad Garlinghouse calls them, you can find clip after clip after clip, and this web of, well, really the only thing you can call it is conflict of interest with the old SEC regime giving Ethereum a free pass, and they did that on purpose. And that was done by William Hinman's "Ethereum is not a security" speech And of course, we're now learning about all the backstory behind that. And one of the key members of this social media space that is bringing out a lot of this information to light. Actually, there's two guys I want to give shout outs to. Number one is Digital Asset Investor, if you haven't watched his channels. And you want to see a lot of the shady backstory as to why Ethereum was given a free pass and XRP wasn't. You're going to want to go follow him on Twitter and watch some of his YouTube channel and watch some of his YouTube videos. They're extremely informative and really make you think. The other one is John Deaton. He's, of course, the attorney that's putting together a class action lawsuit against the SEC that now has over 50,000 people that want to join John and sue the SEC, even though the judge has already said he cannot actually sue the SEC in the class action lawsuit. However, he is going to be giving information to Judge Netburn throughout this case. Well, I wanted to bring John up because he recently just came out with a video that points out how the SEC, the way they actually phrased this lawsuit against XRP, the one they actually put out in January, as well as the one they put out in December, this is not just a case against Ripple. This is a case against all of cryptocurrency. Now, I'm going to link to a video that he just made in the description below. You can watch that when you are done watching this. But he goes over point by point in the lawsuit how it's not just going after Ripple, it's going after all cryptocurrencies. It wants to regulate and control all of them. And he goes through a very detailed point-by-point exercise. And it's something that he points out that the SEC is not just targeting Ripple, they're going nuclear. So even if you are not a fan of Ripple, you're not a fan of XRP, you have your own opinions of it, that's fine. This is not about that. You got to go watch that video and check out why the SEC is not just targeting Ripple. And finally, Judge Netburn, like I said in the beginning of this video, has granted the SEC's request for extension of the expert discovery until January 14th. Now, a lot of people, with myself included, thought that if this was actually granted, it's just gonna extend the course of this case another 2 months. But as Judge Netburn actually pointed out in her order, she actually granted this in part because she says that it's not going to extend the totality of this case. It's still within the scope and the schedule of the case as it is. So that says to me there's probably some sort of internal schedule that at least she has that for some reason it's not going to affect the time frame in which the end of the case could actually happen. Now, when's it actually going to happen? I have no idea. But attorney Jeremy Hogan, who's been following this case all along the way and giving excellent insights, he's been pointing to a March of 2022 date for when he thinks that this case would be wrapped up. Now, if that's the case, expert discovery wraps up January 14th, that would give both sides plenty of time to know exactly what they want to do going into trial, which says to me that this could actually be a pretty quick trial. So I've seen on Twitter and as well as on YouTube that there's a lot of people out there that think this is a very bad thing for Ripple. And I don't think it's a good thing for Ripple, but it's not actually that devastating because if you believe Judge Netburn and that it's not actually affecting the time frame in which the case would actually wrap up, then it's probably not as bad as what some people think. And in fact, as Jeremy Hogan pointed out on Twitter, the biggest thing, the one thing that could really end this case or send it into settlement is the SEC's motion to strike Ripple's fair notice defense. And as soon as Judge Netburn actually brings that notice up or answers that notice, that could determine whether the case goes straight into settlement because it's something that the SEC is not going to want to touch, or if we're actually going to go to trial. Because what that means is if Judge Netburn says Ripple's fair notice defense is actually holding up and denies the SEC's motion to strike Ripple's fair notice defense, that is not going to be good for the SEC, and that could be the catalyst that makes them want to settle. And if you listen to Brad Garlinghouse's words, he has no interest in settling whatsoever unless the SEC says that XRP is not a security and will not be construed as a security moving forward. I don't know if the SEC is actually up for that. But we are going to have to find out because there's some very incriminating documents that the SEC has to turn over to her for review. A lot of it has to do with why exactly Ripple's getting sued in the first place. There's that backstory about the Ethereum free pass. So if you want to follow along with that story as well as all these others that I've been talking about, make sure you subscribe to Late Night Grind. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I do really appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.